Hello, moms. How are you all doing? I can hear the birds chirping right now from outside my window, and it is so lovely. It's just making me smile. So, today I want to talk a little more about releasing stuff. I mentioned this in a previous post about uh, feng shuiing your desk, and I talked a little bit about clearing clutter away from different areas of your desk and what that clutter can represent for you. So, here's another way of thinking about releasing stuff. Um, it's basically the same as any kind of habit change. What really helps when it comes to changing a habit is having something more compelling to replace that habit with, right? We often don't change unless we are experiencing so much pain that it's become more uncomfortable to keep doing what we've been doing as opposed to stay the same. Or we often change patterns and behaviors when there's something more compelling in place. And that's the same thing with stuff and sentimental items. I understand this on a very personal level because I still live in the home that I grew up in and in the home that my mom passed away in. So I have had to deal with this through my 20s, 30s of really slowly and diligently working on letting go of some of her things so that I could take up more space in my own home. So I get it. I get what it feels like to have things have meaning. And what helped me in those moments, in those times, was that connection to a greater vision for myself. And feng shui is a tremendous tool to use because there's so much intention involved, and it gives you a clear roadmap of what to put in place of all of these items that you're holding on to, right? So I'll give you a couple examples. My mom played the piano. We had this giant piano in one of the bedrooms where I wanted to start practicing massage therapy, and it took me a long time to realize that that piano was not something that I used, that I don't play the piano, and that it's okay. Even though I took piano lessons when I was a kid, that's not me. That was my mom. That was her passion, or one of them. And it was this really big clunky piano that took up so much space. And what's surprising is how letting go of these items might have felt a little uncomfortable in the moment, but I found that I didn't really miss them once they were gone, most of them. There was another item. My parents had, they were wood makers, they were machinists, so they made things. They made shelves and dressers and all kinds of furniture. And they had this desk that they made that was kind of like big, bulky, square desk, but I just didn't want to get rid of it. I mean, it was a nice size, so it could hold a lot of items. But it really didn't have the best storage, right? So, and my husband's someone who always wants to hold on to things, and he's, I've got him in my ear saying, like, this is a good desk, like, we use it and all XYZ, but like I had already 3 desks in one small room, like 3 desks, a piano. It just didn't make any sense. And when I released that item, I honestly felt good. I felt better. And as much as it was difficult to let go of that, I really felt amazing afterwards. I felt lighter, and the space felt more uplifted. There was more spaciousness, and this really does have an impact on how you feel. So the third item was this really awesome cedar wood treasure chest that when you opened it up, it smelled so good. And that was a really hard one because I had it in the living room for so long. And, it was aesthetically pleasing. And at the same time, I wanted my husband to have a desk set up in the command position. And that vision for him and that space became more important and more compelling than keeping this treasure chest. I realized that, I want to treat him as my equal, and I want him to have a powerful place to be in the home. So we got rid of that treasure chest. It was a little painful. I still miss it sometimes, but I'm also much happier that he has that space. And you know what happened? Like, I think I've posted a video about this. I think within 3 months of setting him up in the command position, he got offered to train for a 6-figure job within his current job without even asking. And he's currently training for that. So, he's rising up because he's in his power position. And so it was so worth it to do that. And I'm not saying that's going to be the outcome every single time you let go of something, but you never know. You might be surprised. So here's what I would say. Like, if you have, a lot of sentimental items passed down from you, from family members, you could find a way to showcase some of those things in one spot. Like my mom, she loved making pottery, and I have an area in my home where I showcase some of that pottery. And I also let go of what did not fit in my space, because sometimes we have to be honest about what fits into our lives and what doesn't. And what would it be like if we carved out more space in our homes to really truly represent what we want to have more of in our lives, or more variety, And feng shui brings in all those different elements and all those different ways of bringing variety to create harmony in your home. So that's like the really fun, exciting stuff that I love about feng shui. So here's what I would say. Now, there's different ways that you could get started. You could think about an area in your life that you want to improve. Like, maybe it's your career, or maybe it's your finances, or maybe it's your relationship with your partner. And you could use the energetic map, the Bagua, to see where that area in your life is located in your home. And you can just notice, is there clutter in this place? And then that could be where you choose to focus on releasing. And then you also want to visualize what can help you be more motivated to release that clutter, or that stuff, or those sentimental objects, is to visualize what you want there in place of it. And you can do this with great intention, and you can bring in the element, more of the element that's associated with that area of your life, to activate it and to nurture it. Okay, so that's one way that you could go. Or you could pick the area that is calling to you in your home. Maybe it is an area that's full of clutter, and you want to be motivated to release it, so that you can go and see, well, where is that area located according to the Bagua, and see if there's a connection, or if there is a block in that area of your life. So a lot of times these cluster pools of clutter are connected to something that's going on internally. Okay, so those are two different ways to look at where to start. And so what you're going to do is look at where you're starting, and before you remove all that stuff, think about what you truly want to have be represented in that spot. Maybe it's the relationship area. So maybe you want to remove all the gunk there, and put a beautiful picture of you and your partner, or some orchid plants, or bring in that color pink somehow. You can paint with the color pink. You could bring in pink wallpaper. You can bring in photos and images that have the color pink. So you can bring in earth elements. You can bring in crystals. I mean, these are different ways to work with just one particular area of the bagua. All right, so I just want you to start to think about this in a different way, because um, habit change is not easy. And the buildup of stuff, like our lives, my aunt would always say, is an accumulation of personal debris. And while feng shui is not necessarily, uh, it wasn't developed because it was a solution to clutter. People didn't have clutter, in ancient times. Like, people didn't have all this stuff. But feng shui is about improving the flow of energy in your environment. So when you do have an accumulation of things, the energy gets stuck. And while you might love a lot of those things, you're not really seeing them. And so what you want to do is carve out literally some space for you to see truly what you love, and to do it with great intention.